Yeah, hello. You're welcome to Take LMS Academy, where we make tutorials on topics that are of concern to students. So today we shall be delving into inequalities, and so you're going to learn a lot from here. And basically, we solving questions. All right, so let's look at this first question. Now, we may not solve everything, but we're going to solve some of the key questions that we have here. All right, so here we have question one. Write an inequality to describe each of these solution sets. Okay, so these are number lines. These are number lines, and so our responsibility is to solve this. Now, the first one here, we have this circle which is shaded. All right, and then we have an arrow that moves to the left. So what does this mean? The fact that the arrow moves to the left means that it is less than, okay? But when the arrow moves from the dot or from the circle to the right, that shows greater than. That shows greater than. So in this first one, in this first one, it is going to the left. So that um, we're going to say that x, which is what we have on the left, is less than or equal to 2. I want you to take note that if it was just an ordinary circle without anything shaded, okay, there won't be equal to there. But because the circle we are seeing here is also shaded, that's why we have that equal to. So the answer for 1A is x is less or equal to 2, meaning that the values on the left of 2 are less than 2. Okay? And what are the values, what are the numbers that are less or equal to 2? In this case, we will start from 2. Okay, we go to the left, 1, 0, -1, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is the solution for 1A. Look at 1B. For 1B, we have the circle at -2. Take note that the circle was not shaded, okay? And the arrow is to the right. So meaning that the values on the right, that is x, are greater than -2. They are greater than -2. Okay, now what are the numbers that are greater than -2? So from here, we are not going to include -2, rather anything that comes to the right of -2. That is, you can start from -1.99, -1.90, but from here, let's just say we have 0, 2, 4, 6, and so on and so forth. Those are the values that are greater than -2. All right, we move on to, let's check out C. So here we have the dots or the circle on 10, and it is shaded. Now I want you to give a trial on what the answer to this will be. You have 2 seconds. All right, thank you very much for that attempt. So we're going to say that the values on the right of 10, okay, those are x, they are greater than or equal to 10. That is the answer to C. When we look at D, we have -20. What is the answer to this question? Yes, you're right. So we have it as x is less than -20. X is less than -20. And then we have E. Now, you need to take a good look at E. For E, we have -2 and we have 2 here. And we have the values of x in between -2 to 2. All right? So, simply, you can just do this by saying that the values, so let's start from -2. You can say that the values that come to the right of -2, they are greater than -2. So you can now say, so if the values on the right of -2 are greater than -2, that means that -2 is less than those numbers. So we can say -2 is less and equal to the values of x. Okay, -2 is less and also equal to the values. Okay, is less or equal to the values of x. Now we are not true. Then if you look at this 2, we find out that the values to the left of this particular 2, okay, they are less than 2. So we can say this particular x again is less than 2. Okay, so that is the answer for E. That is one quick way of doing it. But I want to tell you about another way you can do it. So this is the answer, but let's look at another way of doing it. Okay, before I tell you that, do you know that you can also switch this? Because it can be served to you in another form and you may not know that is the answer. So it's about turning the whole thing from the right to the left. So we can say that 2 is greater than x, and that x is greater and equal to -2. So we only turned it. Okay, now let me show you another way you can easily do this. Okay, now this is another way you can do work on E. We can say that -2, okay, just a minute. Normally, if you have your -2 here and you have a shaded portion here going to the right, normally we say that the values on the right, as x, is greater and equal to 2. That's what you're familiar with. So now, not like we are breaking it into 2. Alright, then to the right, we have our 2 here, we have our circle here, and this goes to the left. Now, this one can be said to be x is less than 2. Okay. Now, the idea is to connect the two of them so that we will not have x repeated, because here we have x here and x is showing here. So we want to connect the two, and the way you can connect the two is you can move this 2. So this particular one, you can turn it and say 2 is less or equal to x. And then you can easily join it to this one and say that same x is less than 2. So this is another way you can work on this. Oh, don't forget we have a negative. We have a negative here. So important that I don't take out that negative. Okay, so quickly let's take a look at this particular one, and that's for f. Now, how do we go about f? Now to go about f, here's what we do. So let's work on it as fast as possible. These are the values of x here. They are in between this place. So we can say that -10, okay, is less than the values of x. And the values of x, is that going to be correct? Okay. And then we can say that the values of x, they are less than or equal to 15. Now, this is a very, very simple and fast way of doing it. Okay, so -10 is less than x, and x is less or equal to 15. So that is the solution for